Introducing the Latino Data Hub, a game-changing data discovery engine that will revolutionize how we harness the power of reliable and comprehensive data to empower and lift the Latino community in the United States. With its vibrant culture, unwavering resilience, and unparalleled contributions, the Latino community, representing one of the largest and most dynamic communities in the nation, is poised to achieve greater heights than ever before. This powerful data discovery tool goes beyond eye-catching statistics, providing a deeper understanding of the very diverse realities, aspirations, and contributions of Latinos. The Latino Data Hub empowers policymakers, community-based organizations, philanthropists, media outlets, the private sector, and anyone who needs access to solid and thorough data to address the opportunities, challenges, and disparities faced by Latinos in the United States. Behind every data point lies a unique story and lived experience of Latinos in America. It fosters empathy, breaks stereotypes, and encourages a broader and more diverse portrayal of the Latino community. By bringing together all stakeholders, this collaborative platform can help drive positive change. The Latino Data Hub provides the knowledge and insights needed to make informed decisions and drive positive and lasting outcomes. It highlights the economic potential and importance of the Latino population in driving inclusive growth and prosperity in the United States. Visit latinodatahub.org and discover the power of data. Discover groundbreaking data from sources you can trust with easy access.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us. On behalf of the UCLA Latino Policy and Politics Institute, we want to thank you for joining us today. Today's webinar marks an exciting milestone in our ongoing journey to empower and uplift Latino communities. My name is Rodrigo Dominguez Villegas. I'm the Director of Research at UCLA LPPI and the Director of the Latino Data Hub. And it is my pleasure to welcome you all to today's webinar. Before we start, let me take a moment to share why the Latino Data Hub is so important. At UCLA LPPI, our mission is clear. We strive to create a brighter future for Latinos and communities of color through research, advocacy, mobilization, and leadership development. Our aim is that these strategies propel policy reforms that expand opportunities for our communities. LPPI was founded on the premise that Latinos are not a monolith and that through accurate data, we can change the narrow narratives that have dominated this country on who Latinos are. Latinos are multiracial, multi-ethnic, and span a wide spectrum of lived experiences. But without accurate data, these experiences don't show up in the numbers. But today, we unveil a powerful new data tool that embodies our commitment to our mission and will demonstrate the rich diversity of our communities. All of you in the audience are change makers who we have tirelessly worked with to improve our communities. As advocates, community organizers, policymakers, philanthropists, and scholars who are committed to improving the lives of Latinos and communities of color in the United States, we hope that the Latino Data Hub becomes one more dynamic resource that empowers you all to engage in impact that results in stronger, more inclusive communities. So, what's on the agenda today? Today, I will provide a very broad overview of the purpose and unique features of Latino Data Hub. Then my colleague Ji Zong will do a thorough demo of the tool. And then Alberto Lammers will present ways in which you can stay informed and will direct our Q&A where we can answer any questions for you. Please note that there is a Q&A function in the webinar, and we definitely want to hear from you. So please feel free to type questions throughout our presentation. So what goals do we have in mind when creating this amazing tool? First is to change the narrative by allowing all of us, through data, to embrace our complexity. Latinos in the US are often treated as a monolith, obscuring not only our incredible diversity and contributions, but also the wide disparities that exist between Latinos and other groups and within Latino communities. The Latino Data Hub shows the complexity of Latino communities, moving beyond simplistic narratives. It uncovers the interconnected social, economic, and political factors influencing Latino well-being. The second is to design targeted and equitable policies that address the needs of the most underrepresented members from our communities, who are frequently invisible in the data. And we do this through the power of data disaggregation. And let me give you some data points to show the power and need for data disaggregation. So 19% of Latinos in the United States live in overcrowded homes. That's the highest of any major racial ethnic group, and 12 percentage points higher than the general population. But if we disaggregate that further by national origin, for example, we see the overcrowded rates range from 4% for Latinos of Uruguayan descent to 30% for Latinos of Guatemalan descent. Another data point that shows the importance of disaggregation: 18% of Latinos in the country are uninsured. But if we disaggregate by citizenship, we see that 45% of Latinos that don't have citizenship are uninsured. So unfortunately, until this week, there wasn't a place for accurate disaggregated data focused on Latinos that would allow lawmakers, community change makers, and other leaders to understand these disparities without being a data scientist. The third goal is that we hope that this tool empowers all of you to be able to advocate for change. No longer should the question, where is the data, be an obstacle for fundraising or changing investment strategies or pushing for policy changes. So really quickly, what is the Latino Data Hub? Well, the Latino Data Hub is a user-friendly platform that empowers advocates, decision makers, and the media with insights to make informed decisions that will improve the well-being of Latino communities across the US. Using the data science expertise of our team at UCLA LPPI, we leverage data collected in the American Community Survey, which is the largest yearly survey collected by the US Census Bureau. And we do all the coding, the data management, the survey weighing required to create accurate and reliable estimates on a wide range of indicators of Latino well-being. And we provide that at the national, the state, and then the county levels. And what makes it unique, as you'll soon see when G does the demo, first, it's the breadth of the issues that we cover. We provide valuable data points on over 130 different indicators across 10 issue areas, ranging from access to transportation, to child well-being, to income. Second is the depth of the information we provide through data disaggregation. Data disaggregation allows our users to break down information into smaller subpopulations by race, by sex, by national origin, nativity and citizenship, and other key variables that have been systematically used for oppression or exclusion of our communities. Disaggregated data leads to more accurate diagnoses and better targeted, equitable policymaking. It is the nuances of the insights that we provide that make these tools so powerful. Third, our interface is incredibly user-friendly and does not require our users to do any data coding. You will get the data point that you need by just point and clicking through our menus. Fourth, the data queries and the data visualizations are incredibly customizable, so you can create impactful and beautiful data visualizations easily. And last, but probably most important, es bilingüe. Todo en la plataforma está en español. So with that, I pass it on to my amazing colleague, Ji Zong, Senior Research Analyst at LPPI and Manager of the Latino Data Hub, who will showcase the main features of the tool.
Thank you, Rodrigo. Hello, everyone. My name is Ji Zong, Senior Research Analyst at LPPI and Manager of Latino Data Hub. This moment feels like a dream come true to me because in the early days of my career working as a data analyst at a VC think tank, One of my responsibilities was to fulfill data requests from lawmakers, government agencies, journalists, and community advocates using ACS data. Oftentimes, I had to decline due to our limited capacity, but it struck me at the time how data access was a privilege. I wish there were more well-curated resources that could empower individuals, especially those without formal data training or extensive resources, to crunch their own numbers and advocate for their causes. That's why today I'm so honored and happy to introduce you to the Latino Data Hub. Let's get started. Let me share my screen here. Okay. To get to the site, you can go to latinodataHub.org. The home screen offers top-level links for easy access to the central features and navigation elements of the tool, including the ability to continue in Spanish. The issue areas contains data related to a specific topic, like demographics, education and language, employment, among others. You can access them from the top navigation bar or the center left navigation panel. On the right of the center panel, you can find a series of promo videos and tutorial videos to walk you through basic and advanced use of the tool. During our demonstration today, I will focus on the custom graphs feature, which enables access to all indicators and allow users to save and share data queries. We recommend you to create an account with us to take advantage of the full functionalities the tool has to offer, and you can save your work. I'm now logged in an empty profile. So here you can click on Add Graph to start making a data visualization. First, we can start picking a visualization type. I will select Map, and then click on the drop-down menu to access the full list of indicators. Let's say that we're interested in what percent of Latinos are uninsured. So you can type in the drop-down menu, uninsured, and then it will give you a few options, and then we'll click on uninsured rate here. Okay, see well? Yeah, okay. Now you'll see a heated map of uninsured rates for Latinos by state and a bar chart to rank the states and the US average. The US average is ranked within the states. You can change how states are ranked by click this button here. You can rank them high to low, low to high, or alphabetical orders. The legend on the bottom left of the map indicates that the darker blue signals higher uninsured rates and vice versa. When you click on a particular state, let's say Texas, you can find a few things. First, Texas ranked the 5th highest in Latino uninsured rate in the country. Second, that 28% or 3.2 million of Latinos are uninsured in Texas. And a detailed breakdown of coverage types among Latinos in the state. Sometimes data points might appear as NA, like in the case of Maine and Vermont. This happens when your selection results in sample sizes that are too small to show reliable data. Our minimal sample size is 100. One note I want to make before we proceed is that we use the US government's official definition of Latino to ensure consistency with other data sources. This includes 20 Spanish-speaking countries from Latin America and Spain, but not Portugal or Portuguese-speaking Brazil. If you're unclear about the indicator's definition, you can click on this icon next to the title, where you can find detailed notes. Also provides further support. You can also click on these icons to save an image, view it in full screen, share a link to your data, download the data in a CSV format, copy the data to your clipboard and clear all your changes here. We welcome you to use our visualization directly from our website, or download the data to make your own chart. We only ask you to cite the Latino Data Hub properly. On the FAQ page, there are specific instructions on how to cite our data. To dive deeper, click View Chart to switch to the bar chart view. By default, as the new subtitle here shows, this chart compares Latinos to the overall population and other non-Latino racial groups. The white, black AAPI populations here excluded Latinos who also self-identify with these racial groupings. When scrolling over the bar chart, you'll find a sentence explaining each data point to aid your understanding of the data. By clicking on the Customize icon, you can first choose a different comparison group. You can also click on the icon here for further clarification of the groupings. Let's select Latino descent groups here, and I hit Submit. Now you see the same data points, but for Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, Cubans, etc. The subtitle here is also revised to reflect your selection. Central American and South American groups are by default reported as one, like large groups, but you can select specific ones from the drop-down menu. For example, here I can select Honduran, and then for South American, I can select Colombian. You can also remove groups from your visualization. So I can remove other Latino from this group. When you scroll down and click on the table, you will access a data table with comparison groups corresponding to your selection. You're able to download the data as a CSV file or copy data to a clipboard. To compare differences between men and women, you can select Include Sex Comparison. Now you can easily see disparities by sex for each group. You can find the legend at the bottom of the chart that the blue bars are for female and the tier bars are for male. You can also select an additional breakdown, which allow you to add another layer of comparison, splitting your data by citizenship, English proficiency, veteran status, and other categories. In light of the Veterans Day this Saturday, I'm selecting veteran status here. The resulting data is color-coded according to your query. So here, the blue bar is non-veterans, the pink bar is veterans. You can see that across all Latino descent groups, veterans have significantly lower uninsured rates compared to veterans. We intentionally built many guiding features to show our users to correctly interpret the data. For example, here you can see a sentence explaining each data point when you hover over the bars, and these instructions are dynamic based on your selection of the different breakdown groups. You can further refine your search based on geography by first selecting a state and then select most advanced feature, filters. Filters allow users to calculate the indicator only for a subset of the population based on a series of factors: income, age, citizenship, employment, educational attainment, poverty, and industry and occupation. All filter options are pre-selected. Unselect specific options to remove the population that you wanted to exclude. So for instance, if you're interested in uninsured rates for those who are eligible to vote, you can exclude people under the age of 18 and unselect non-citizens. And then click on Submit Filters. When you have selected any filters, make any adjustment in the filter selection, you will see a subtitle that shows what population groups are included in this analysis. We welcome you to use filters with caution because we're changing the universe of analysis. If you create a profile, you can save all your work and add a visualization. If you have any questions, share experience. Click on the red question mark to ask for support and provide feedback. We will get back to you as much as possible. So if you ever run into any questions, you can also click here. This concludes my demonstration of the tool, but we're happy to answer questions during the Q&A. Please type in your questions through the Q&A function. I now will turn it over to Alberto Lammers, Director of Communication at LPPI, to share how to stay informed with our updates and moderate the Q&A. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Latino Data Hub. This webinar will be the first of several that we'll have planned in the next few months. We plan to continue demonstrating the Hub's capabilities and functions because we want you to use the platform and the work that you do to support our communities. To stay connected, you can subscribe to receive updates on events, upgrades to the Hub, and analysis from our team. You can do this by simply going to the homepage and clicking the subscribe button on the top right. If you have questions, submit your query through the contact tab. You can also send us an email with your questions or feedback to info@latinodatahub.org. That is info@latinodatahub.org. And please help us spread the word. We need you. Share our communications with your colleagues and networks and encourage them to use the Latino Data Hub. Thanks again. And now we can begin the Q&A part of our program. The first one we have here is who financed the labor of this project for LPPI?
Hi, so we are really thankful to our seed funders who were the W.K. Kellogg Foundation and Casey Family Programs. And they provided the seed funding for what you're seeing today. As we try to keep this tool free, and I see in the Q&A that a lot of you are asking, is this free? Is creating a profile free? Yes, this tool is free. We truly believe in the democratization of data use. And so it is totally free for you to create a profile, to use this data. We're trying to maintain it that way. So our team is tirelessly fundraising to upkeep this data tool and maintain it free for all of you.
Thank you, Rodrigo. The next question, I'll give it to you, G. Can you layer different indicators on maps?
Unfortunately, not right now. But as I mentioned during the demo, I might have cut off a little bit, that if you wanted to add additional layer of data for comparison purposes, you can easily, in your own profile, you can add a graph. You only have to replicate the same clicks you did in the previous graph, and then you can easily compare the numbers, and then you can download the data together.
Thank you, G. The next question is, what if we wanted to know how many Salvadorians are uninsured? It would provide that detailed info?
Yes. So when G showcased the comparison, when she changed the comparison to Latino descent groups, the bars showed a lot of different Latino descent groups, but Central Americans were collapsed in one category. If you go further down in the data visualization and you click on that drop-down menu, you're able to select or unselect different Central American groups, including Salvadorans.
Thank you, Rodrigo. The next question we have is Puerto Rico included in the Data Hub announced data?
So at this moment, we do not have Puerto Rico in this data tool. However, for those in the call who are interested in data about Puerto Rico Puerto Ricans in the island of Puerto Rico, I invite you to check out the Center for Puerto Rican Studies at Hunter College. Just Google Center for Puerto Rican Studies Hunter College Data Hub, and they have a very comprehensive data tool about Puerto Rico. For us, we are carefully working on thinking how to incorporate Puerto Rico into this tool, but also we don't want to duplicate the great work that our colleagues at the Center for Puerto Rican Studies at Hunter College have already done.
Thank you, Rodrigo. G, I'm going to give you the next question. Do we have the education data specifically for pre-K, K to 12? I'm sorry.
Yes, if you go to the issue areas, we have a whole issue area dedicated to child well-being. We include a range of indicators, talk about enrollment by different grade for Latino children, and then have public access to public pre-K, private pre-K, and no pre-K. And so there, we welcome you to go to the site and explore the indicators that we included there. Yes.
Thank you, G. I think we have another one for you. Is there a way to select multiple geographies, state or counties in the custom graphs?
So right now we don't have the ability, we cannot let you automatically combine geographies, like combine multiple counties or combine multiple states together to create your own geography. That is something we've been getting a lot of questions about. That I think we're thinking if we should add to this capacity. But for now, the easiest way to get to that answer is to just create multiple data visualizations, adding those raw numbers together. And one thing I would like to note is just with smaller geographies, like we don't provide standard errors, but we do try to control the data quality by first limit the sample size to 100. And then second is we run all the estimates to the nearest of thousands, so that we're not providing numbers that are based on too small sample sizes and they're not as accurate. However, it happens when you're adding those rounded numbers together, the small geography you go down to, they might be more prone to certain kind of errors. Yeah, but that's the only, that will be my recommendation.
Thank you, G. A question that we're actually getting from a few people: will we have access to the recording of this webinar at a later date? Yes, every person that has registered to this webinar will be receiving an email in the next couple of days with a recording of the entire webinar, including the Q&A. Rodrigo, the next question is for you. Does the Latino Data Hub have access to the most recent reliable data sources? And is environmental data included in the indicators?
Yes. So right now we are relying on the American Community Survey, which is released by the Census Bureau more or less around December, the beginning of December, with a 2-year lag. So right now on the data tool, you'll see data for 2021. We will update that data to 2022 at the beginning of next year. And that's we're drawing on the American Community Survey because it's so large, right? So there's like about 15 million respondents to that survey, and that allows us to do the level of detail that we provide. In terms of environmental data, right now we don't have indicators on environmental data, but it is one of the issue areas that we are exploring to expand into. And we will create a unique tool just for environmental data because the data source will come from a different place. And the level of disaggregation will be different because of that size of the data and the different sources. I want to talk a little bit about other issue areas. So the environment is one of the issue areas that we're trying to build a new tool for. Wealth is another one, and health outcomes is the third one that we are exploring into creating new tools for those.
Thank you, Rodrigo. G, the next one's for you. Do we have information by counties for each state?
So the way we map the counties is we took the Census Bureau's microdata and then we overlay them with county boundaries. And so you will see that some counties are grouped together because they're too small to be their own geography. It's called public use microdata areas, and then which includes about 100,000 people. So we went through all the counties in America, and we narrowed down to 495 counties geographies. So some of these are combined counties because some counties in Texas are just too small to be its own geography. We cover, for each state, we have at least one county geography. And these counties together cover over 95% of the US Latino population. And if you go to our website in the FAQ, we provide specific explanation of how we map out the counties, what are the drawbacks of certain methods, and then and also you can get a list of a comprehensive list of the counties that we provide estimates for.
Thank you, G. The next question is for Rodrigo, which we're actually getting a few of them about the same theme about the having data from the criminal justice system.
Yeah, so actually in the tool, we don't have data about the criminal justice, Latinos impacted by the justice system. I will put in the chat in a second, you'll see the URL to a report that LPPI did about the Latinx data gap in the youth justice system. And that shows the huge data gap that there is. So we have a whole advocacy arm of LPPI that is doing data advocacy so that states across the country and their justice systems collect better data about Latinos in the justice system so that we can provide much more reliable data. But there's a huge data gap in the collection of that. And so first, we've got to get all the jurisdictions to do so much better. Hope you take a look at the report that I'll put in the chat. Alberto, you're muted.
The next one is for Jay. I'm sorry about that. The data on individuals in a household receiving supplemental nutrition assistance program, SNAP. What is the denominator because used to calculate these percentages? Does it include people who are eligible for SNAP?
The percentages are calculated. The denominator is the overall population. It's not people who are eligible for SNAP. I think if you are interested in that, you could try to put in certain measurements, certain breakdown by poverty status. Like, for example, if you do the percent of people in a household receiving SNAP, and then of the people who are in poverty versus people who are in low income versus people who are not in poverty or low income, you will get a better answer that way. Yeah.
Thank you, G. The next question is, what are some specific ways that Latino Data Hub is connecting with community organizations?
So, well, the first thing is through webinars like this. We are also communicating directly with community-based organizations, but we are also developing a program called the Data Action Labs, which will be co-created training programs where we will increase capacity of our community partners so that they can critically analyze and present data using the Data Hub. And the idea is to train them using the train-the-trainer model so that we can train representatives for different organizations who will then become ambassadors and train the staff in those organizations. I encourage everybody in the call, if you're part of an organization, to go onto our website. And as Alberto mentioned earlier, there is a tab that says contact. And if you have questions or if you want to, engage with us and get us to talk to your organization about the Latino Data Hub or do specific trainings, please submit it there, and then we'll get back to you as soon as possible.
Thank you so much, Rodrigo. The next one is, thank you for creating this amazing data source. I was curious, in the future, are you considering to add more years for the data so that we can look at issues affecting Latinos over time?
The answer is yes. We plan to update the data yearly. So when the latest American Census Bureau data for the year 2022 is out sometime next year, we will be providing another year of updates. And I think we will also just keep the 2021 data for comparison purposes.
Thank you, G. I'm going to give the next one to Rodrigo, which is along the same lines. What are the expansion plans for the Latino Data Hub?
So the first one is that right now we're exploring ways in which we can expand our geographic capabilities by adding data at the congressional district level. But as G mentioned, a second expansion will be to allow the users to do trend lines to analyze how different indicators have evolved with time. And then something that I mentioned earlier was that we are currently fundraising and convening experts on wealth, the environment, and health outcomes for us to create those 3 data tools on the 3 really important issues that the American Community Survey does not collect. Again, I encourage everybody to get in touch with us, either using the info@latinodataHub.org email, or going to the website and clicking on contact. And if you have suggestions about what kinds of data you would like to see included, what kinds of expansions you would like to see added into the tool, this data tool is for you. So we really want to hear from all of you.
Thank you, Rodrigo. The next question is for G. Rodrigo, are we able to look at indicators for folks who identify as indigenous migrants from Latin American countries? Some indigenous folks from Latin America may not necessarily identify as Latino.
This is a very complicated question. Thank you. I really appreciate this question. I think this type of question is exactly like how we wanted to use the data tool to highlight the diversity, the multiracial profile of the Latino population. If you go to the tool in the comparison, you will see that we have another comparison group called Latino racial groups. This is where we overlay Latino population over different to highlight the racial diversity within the Latino population, especially Afro-Latinos and Indigenous Latinos. And so this will be some place to start. And we also compiled a memo in the FAQ. If you click on kind of that I button under that particular group, talk about kind of data gaps and data limitations, and how the indigenous population don't identify themselves as Latinos, and that there's a lot of data discrepancy, and how the government measurement of race and ethnicity doesn't really touch the real person's experience. I think that's something that we wanted to shed light on this issue, and we welcome more conversations with you on this. But that's something that we don't want to lose that kind of point of view in the tool. Yeah. So that's that.
Thank you, G. The next one is for you, Rodrigo. Can we find data on Latino voters? And please, if you have a question, use the Q&A function. Thank you.
All right. So yes, we definitely have a lot of data about Latino voters. So there's different ways to access that. One is under the democracy and voting issue area. We have 3 indicators there. One is eligible voters, which is available at the 3 geographies that we provide at the national level, state and county. Then we have 2 other indicators there, registered voters and individuals who voted. Those are numbers that are provided by the current population survey for the last presidential election, which was in 2020. And unfortunately, for those two indicators, it's only available at the country, at the national and the state level. However, I really encourage all of you to use the eligible voters numbers. I always think of Latino, our work in promoting higher participation in electoral politics, etc., by Latinos, to look at the number who are eligible to vote, because that is the potential of all the Latino population that could go to the ballot box, and that we should be thinking about when mobilizing people to go to vote. So yeah, so you can access Latino voters, the characteristics about eligible voters through that indicator. The other way to access and to understand the characteristics of Latino voters would be to do it through our filter function. So let's imagine again through the example that G ran through in her demo, where she selected the indicator called uninsured. That will show you the percent of people who are uninsured. Then you can use the filter function by doing customize filters. And then you can unselect people who are not eligible to vote to exclude them from your analysis. Who are those who are not eligible to vote? Those who are minors, so 0 to 17, and then those who are non-citizens. So if you unclick those two boxes in the filters function, now you see, for the example that I was mentioning, the percent who are uninsured, but only limited to those who are eligible to vote. And you can do the same for all the indicators. So if you're interested in a particular characteristic about eligible voters, that's how I would get to it.
Thank you, Rodrigo. G, what kind of training or support resources are available for users who are new to data analysis or interpretation?
Thank you for this question. Our website is a great place to start. We have a few tutorial videos and very detailed technical documentation to explain the data and definitions. Over the next few months, we're going to start to host bi-weekly office hours, where one of our staff members will provide demonstrations, answer your questions, and help you troubleshoot. Many of you who subscribe to our newsletters will see that we just published our first data brief yesterday about Latino veterans. These data briefs are based mostly on data from the Latino Data Hub. By publishing them, we hope to highlight the depths of issue areas covered and the capacity of the tool. We invite you to explore and utilize the platform and generate your own analysis to support your work. Finally, we're also exploring the possibilities of providing targeted training and tailored to your issue areas and geography. If your organization is interested, please feel free to use the contact form to reach out to us for us to collect more information about how to do these trainings effectively.
Thank you, G. Rodrigo, can you tell us a little bit about the funding for the Latino Data Hub?
Yes. So the funding, as I mentioned earlier, came from two seed funders, WK Kellogg Foundation and KC Family Programs. And currently there are other foundations who are starting to support the work, such as Irvine in California. But if any one of you in the call right now is in a foundation and want to support this work, this is a really expensive endeavor. The reason why the Census Bureau has not created such a user-friendly interface is because it's really expensive and it's really difficult to do. And so we took on the difficult task, but to keep it free, we will just keep on working on hopefully getting it funded. Something that helps a lot is that whenever you use the Latino Data Hub for any work that you do, please cite the Latino Data Hub. That increases visibility and helps us show impact whenever we are writing reports for funders. And yeah, so please cite the Latino Data Hub whenever you're using it. And even better, let us know Let us know when you're using the Latino Data Hub. If you're using it for creating a report for your organization, let us know. If you're using it, if you are a staff member for a policymaker and you're using like the data from the Latino Data Hub, please let us know so that we can showcase the impact of the tool.
Thank you, Rodrigo. G, the next one is for you. What is the time frame for adding the new features and new issue areas from here on?
I think that we're now in the releasing stage. We are starting to do that. We make the website live in October, and then we're doing public webinars and then trying to reach out to as possible. And I think in the meantime, our developers are in the background developing doing a lot of work on like congressional district and doing a lot of work on figuring out how to add the new years of data. So I would think by sometime next year, we will be starting to rolling out new features. Yeah. But right now we're still trying to spread the word, spread the news as much as possible.
Thank you, G. There's a couple of questions about connecting with us. Please feel free to email us at info@latinodatahub.org. That is info@latinodatahub.org. We have folks that will be answering that email address, and we'll be directing them to the appropriate people at the initiative and in the program. And I think we are at our last few minutes. I want to thank everyone for joining us. We have had a couple of hundred folks. Thank you. We encourage you to use the Data Hub. Rodrigo, G, thanks for walking us through this amazing new tool. Thanks, everyone.